Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode of the vlogs. As you can tell from the title, we're finding out today about the British rowing trials. For me personally, if I will be doing it. So we'll be speaking to the doctor, speaking to the coaches, and just sort of confirming or not confirming if I'm doing or not doing trials. But first things first, we're going to do a little bit of some training. Through this week I've been doing some steady stuff, so not to raise the heart rate too much, giving my body time to repair, to recover, to rest, and giving the chance for the antibiotics to do their thing too. So let's get in the gym.
You were my best friend, didn't care about the rules, good on the weekends. I'll be in fools, drifting to deep space. So brave and so stupid, just like the movies. I was gonna stay in the fight with you, just thinking we would do this until we couldn't do it, each and every high.
And we've made it outside of the club for the afternoon after a little bit of an erg. Again, still keeping track of heart rates and how I'm feeling, the level of perceived exertion, looking at splits, making sure it's not going out of control. Luckily it is not, so it seems I'm on the mend. I've had a talk to the doctor, talk to the coach or coaches, and we'll talk about what's happening this weekend post fueling up. We're going to get some sushi, oh yeah, but we need to take Yam and Blue, Alison Claire's dog, out, give them a little walk pre-fueling up, because remember, food is fuel and they have to get their food and they have to get their exercise. And as well, we've got the trailers behind me getting ready, almost all done for trials this weekend too. But now it's time to go get some all-you-can-eat sushi. Oh yeah! And we have made it outside of this sushi. Unfortunately, it wasn't all you can eat, but it was a lot to eat. Delicious food out here. Little invite there from Big Al, because he really likes his sushi, and some delicious oily fish to keep us going and get him prepped for trials and me prepped for, unfortunately, not doing trials, which I'll talk about once we get back to the house. Now let's get to it. And we've made it back to the house nice and safe. Traffic was absolutely horrendous coming back from Reading, but that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about whether or not I'm doing trials this year, and as I alluded to, not really fueling up for trials there with the sushi because I'm not doing trials. So spoke to the doctor, spoke to the coaches, and with the tooth infection I am getting better and the tooth is getting better, but still on the course of antibiotics and not 100%. So I think it's better to not put my body through a lot of stress in the 2k on the erg and the 5k on the water to then put myself back down into a hole that I would find it more difficult to get into. Instead, we're going to take the rest of the week to keep building. So basically for the last few days I've been doing small monitored ergs, and monitored ergs is just making sure that you are monitored in some fashion. So keeping an eye on your heart rate, level of perceived exertion. We used to do monitored ergs at Caversham on the British rowing team and do the lactic acid levels, and that was another way you could monitor your output to be able to measure that and give yourself, okay, am I trying too hard for the split, or am I trying too hard for the split, or is that the right effort for the split itself? So over the week, been increasing the periods of time on the rowing machine slightly each day to make sure that it is not too much, because with the infection and so they weren't sure if it was just a tooth infection or more of a viral infection, but either way, with the infection, what can happen is you think you're feeling okay, then you go do exercise and it just ruins you again and you fall down. So by starting off sort of reasonably light and with reasonably short amounts of time and then building up, then you can kind of say, okay, that was okay. Can I go up a little bit further? Yes. Do a little bit more time? Yes. Okay. And then if you do get to the point where it's no, that's too much, then you can back off a little bit rather than going out back straight to the full training sessions and then say, that was a bad idea. I've really sort of screwed things up there and I'm really tired and really struggling now. So that's the idea, building up, and that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the week, because after trials, we have a lot of quite important things going on at Leander Club in regards to sort of the internal athletes and internal testing, because so far we've only done sort of fitness and strength testing, so on the erg and on the weights room. And with trials as well, what will happen is some guys will do well enough to be taken back or taken into the British rowing team and train at Caversham, but also people might come back from Caversham and train at Leander Club. So what the coaches want to do is make sure that after trials that everyone knows where they are. So we're still to see what's going on in that regards, but there is going to be some sort of testing. And for me, I don't want to go through this weekend really strong, really hard, and do the 2K and the 5K, the trials, and then fall over and be ill, and then next week miss that testing. So it's a case of making sure I'm really ready to go, and it's just unfortunate the timing that has happened this way, because with Olympic year, the door is very, very much, it's still open for people to get onto the British rowing team, onto the senior men's side, but it is a very almost closed door. So every opportunity you get to show the coaches, show the senior team coaches that yes, I am at the level, I am of the ability that you want to seize that and really show them. But so this opportunity this time of trials, unfortunately, I won't have. So as the year progresses, the opportunities become fewer and the door becomes more and more shut. So it's of course, never say never. A very, very good performance will still do me well and give me opportunities to test against people in the British rowing team, but with missing trials, it means that the invite to do opportunities between now and the next trials is not going to happen. So it's just a case of, okay, I need to get myself back into full fighting fitness and try not to let the opportunities that could have been affect what the opportunities can be, if that makes sense. Because what can happen is if you miss an opportunity, you can get bogged down in the what ifs and miss out in what is happening in the now and what can happen in the future. So from here, it's, like I said, getting back to full fighting fitness and then looking forward to the testing that's going on at Leander Club, and then onwards from there. So there's still December trials, but of course that's invite only, so I have to be able to give performances that would earn me an invite, and then there's February trials, and of course the Olympic trials and non-Olympic trials later on in the year, next year, the March, April trials as well. But like I said, as the year progresses, even if a very good performance happens in the later trials, it just becomes less and less likely that you'll be accepted or taken into the team, because with Olympics happening, obviously the team has to be set pretty early, so that the boats can be together and do their best at the Olympic Games. So, but that's another discussion, and we're in the now, and I will not be doing trials, unfortunately. And with this weekend, since I'm not doing trials, I won't be at trials, so I'm not going to be doing trials sort of vlogs, but I think what I'm going to do is make videos and discuss the results of trials. So the results are public, so I'm going to discuss them a little bit. So whether that's the 2K scores or the results for the water performances, I'm going to see if we can talk a little bit about that, just to see what I think might be happening or what might happen now, if that matches up what does happen on Saturday and Sunday of this week. Because of course, being in the rowing bubble, very close to all the people that will be going to trials too, there's so many people, so many pairs that I know that are going to try and win, so they'll be very close to the top, and it'll be interesting to see how they all do, and having sort of that insight might be quite interesting for you guys. But that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. So a little bit of bad news, but as always, taking that bad news and using it as an opportunity to see something maybe in a different light. And as always, if one door shuts, there will be another one opening somewhere, but you might not see it. And as always, Yam Squad, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode for some more training, building back up to, or making sure I'm able to build back up to full program. Oh yeah.